In an effort to play his part in highlighting Youth Month, visual artist Ramarutha Makoba has produced various art pieces and put together an exhibition called BORN in Soweto. This new body of work serves to commemorate tragic events of the 1976 Soweto student uprisings, while also telling the story of his own life as a student growing up on the gritty streets of Soweto. Ramarutha joins us now on Skype to take us through this project that officially opened yesterday at Gallery 2 in Johannesburg. Ramarutha, good morning to you. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning.
Tell us more about the exhibition BORN in Soweto and the kind of message that you're trying to portray through this.
On this show, I think I was trying to portray, the history of South Africa, remembering that like June 16th. So I'm trying to, to show that we still appreciate, what happened during that time.
Well, as a Soweto-born artist yourself, what does Youth Month mean to you?
For me, Youth Month is very important. I think it's a month that we need to celebrate and always remember the history about where we come from and respect what other kids those sacrificed for the today education and fighting for our rights. And I think the show talks about that and shows appreciation of what the June 16 kids, what they've sacrificed.
Well, the exhibition, Ramarutha, also tells your own life story as a student growing up on the gritty streets of Soweto. Tell us more about that. Tell us about your life during that period.
During that period, to be honest, it was quite hard, but sometimes as a child, you don't really understand what is happening. But when you grow up, when you look back, you look at what happened and you look at the history of South Africa that, we come from a difficult situation as a nation. And so, you always say to yourself, you need to always work harder. And for my side is that I always encourage my students to really work hard. So the show really talks about that. Because if you look at some of my images, you see the kids, those are willing to go to school. You see Nelson Mandela as a role model, and you see other people, those are role models around the country. And just to motivate kids to work harder, just to always appreciate, the history of Hector Peterson.
Sure. And take us through the material and the style of art that you use for this exhibition that help you tell the narrative of June the 16th of 1976.
Yes, I think here most of the time what I use is that I use painting and a bit of charcoal. And the medium that I always use again is silkscreen printing that I've studied at Artist Pro Studio. So what I do, I use different skills that I teach my kids. So I always show them as a teacher how to use the material. So my work is on paper, and so that's what I always use those techniques that I teach my kids, which is silkscreen and drawing and painting.
Yeah. Just going through some of the images that we are playing on the screen right now, I can see that you use trees as a metaphor that has become quite a prominent feature in your work. Tell us more about your fascination with trees.
My fascination with trees, I think it comes to, from the whole concept of, family tree. And again, at the beginning of the tree, if you look at the tree like the roots, I look at that as like, where we come from as a country, the root, that's where we started. And, when the tree grows, it shows, the benefits of life itself. So for me, is that I always look at that, the tree, it's a good metaphor for life itself.
You're also an arts teacher in Soweto, isn't it?
Yes, definitely, yes.
Okay. Do your students understand the history behind June 16 beyond that iconic picture of Hector Peterson?
Yeah, just to be honest, yes, they do. But, I think there's more education that we always have to always remember, to help them to always remember. And I think, with the images that I've created, it's something that I always want to inspire them all over again, to always think about that day. That is very important because sometimes they kind of forget. And I think, for me as a teacher right now to create this show, I think it's a remembrance of Hector Peterson all over again and teach them all over again, for those who don't understand. So I think as I was growing up in Soweto, I realized that, we know about Hector Peterson, but sometimes we don't know more detail, So for this show, it's for me to really inspire those kids,
And for those who wish to view your work from the safety of their own homes, they can view the exhibition online. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, they can view the exhibition online on www.gallery2.co.za, and there's information there, and you can view the work there. And again, is that even the gallery did organize for people if they want to come through, but they come according to appointment. You can give them a call, and the rules that maybe 4 people they can come in. So it's not a lot of people that they're allowed to go there. So it's only by appointment.
Okay, so what's the overall message that is encapsulated in this body of work?
In this body of work, man, one thing that I've realized is that I'm trying to inspire kids, to be very, very motivated when it comes to education. Because if you look at some of the piece, if you look at behind it says kings. I feel that the kids, they need to know that they're very important, because without them, you don't have any future. Because what has happened with Dr. Peterson is that it created a future for South Africa. So even if those kids, they still have the same role to play, in South Africa, for them to go to school and get education, which is very important.
All right, Ramarutha, thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for, injecting a new dynamism in and adding a different dimension to telling the story of June 16. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, Tigab.
That was visual artist Ramarutha Makoba. He's been speaking to us about his latest body of work called Born in Soweto, that is on display at Gallery 2 until the 27th of June. It is 7:30.